Hello everyone, Wesker567 here, and I'm here to do my review, the beginning of the main series of Resident Evil review, and I'm starting, of course, with Resident Evil 0. What I'd like to begin talking about first is first off, the being able to play as the two people. You can play as either Rebecca Chambers or Billy Cohen, and it doesn't matter exactly which one you play as. It won't really affect the story as much, but it's really unique, really groundbreaking for its time, as that's never really been offered in a Resident Evil game prior to Resident Evil, like Code Veronica. Well, actually, no, you play as other characters, but like not really as much as this one, whereas you can actually choose if you want to play as Billy the entire time or as Rebecca the entire time, except for certain parts of the game where you actually have to swap characters in order to complete a certain goal, which is actually pretty unique in a Resident Evil game, as that's not offered as much, except for Resident Evil 5, but that was just a disaster. What else was really unique about this game was the whole new story, as this one is taking place the day before the mansion incident, where in the intro to Resident Evil Remake, you hear that Bravo team was sent to investigate, and this is what you're playing as. You're playing as Bravo team. You play as Rebecca Chambers, and you have to investigate the forest. Only you don't go into the mansion yet. At the end, if you want to play, then pause this right now and skip ahead about a minute or so, because I'm gonna tell you the ending. Now, the ending is that you kill a certain monster, and then you end up going to the mansion, and then it ends there. Like it ends with you going to the mansion. And basically this is Rebecca working her way to the mansion and seeing what happened before with all of Bravo team. And what else is really unique is all the new puzzles, because this one has probably harder puzzles than other Resident Evil games, because normally I don't really have to look up guides for these puzzles, whereas other ones that actually had to, like this one, I actually had to use a guide a couple of times, so I've been able to figure out a couple of them. Like, probably one of the kind of more confusing puzzles was the puzzle when you have to use Billy's lighter, and you have to turn on all those little statue things. You have to set those little oil drums on fire, or like little oil containers, and you have to put a certain combination into each one. Like, you have to do it in a certain thing. Like, there's a wolf, a deer, a rabbit or something, and you have to put it in the right order, is what I'm trying to say. And what I'd also like to talk about is the enemies. You get actually a pretty wide variety of different enemies. Like, you fight a lot in this game. There's leeches, all different kinds of leech monsters, like the leech monster of and the leech monster is James Marcus. You also can end up fighting a proto-tyrant, which I don't have to explain that. Then you could also fight giant scorpions, giant bats, smaller bats, other crows, the zombies and everything, but there are no Crimson Head zombies. If you hated those from Resident Evil Remake, then they don't happen. Now, you pretty much fight leech monsters I'd say about maybe 10 or so times, but it's not always James Marcus. It's more just the regular leeches that form together and form a replica of James Marcus. You only fight Marcus twice, actually, and that's at the end of the game. Now, what's also pretty unique about this game, which is actually common in Resident Evil games, is to have a bonus mode that offers all different special items. And this one, you get Leech Hunter mode, whereas you have to find either blue or green leeches. Actually, you have to find both. The blue leeches are for Billy, and the green leeches are for Rebecca. If you find 100 of them, you get unlimited ammo for all your weapons, and you get different prizes in that area. Like, if you get 20, you get unlimited handguns, and then you get like 30, you get a revolver, a hunting rifle, all different weapons, and then you get unlimited ammo for all these weapons. So I'd recommend, if you're going to do that mode, if you're going to try and complete it, look up a guide, because of course Capcom is going to really bust their asses on making it hard to find most of these. And as well, you start out with a lot of ammo, but they fill this entire the management training facility, and they fill a couple of the areas just filled with monsters like giant spiders and everything. So I'd recommend really being careful, because it's kind of actually hard to complete fully. Like, if you're gonna go for the full 100, it's harder to do. So I just made it easier on myself and just did the unlimited handguns, because that's all I was really after in that game. I don't really have that much more to say on this. I guess maybe I could talk a little bit more about the story and everything. Like, you learn more about Wesker and what he was planning before. Like, you find out kind of how the infection got out. And it was actually James Marcus who spread the infection, because Umbrella assassinated him, and William Birkin and Albert Wesker pretty much took over the research. So a T-virus infected leech crawled into Marcus's dead body, and it brought him back to life. And then he began his revenge on Umbrella, so he released the T-virus out in the forest and the management training facility and the mansion as well. So it explains a lot of events that Resident Evil Remake and the other ones didn't. So this is actually a pretty favorable of my Resident Evils, but this one's not my favorite. So next, we will be working on my favorite Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Remake. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this review.